So Trump talked today about the war with Iran and he said we won. Yeah, I'm serious because Trump today held a rally at Hebron, Kentucky and he was talking about the war.
Hello, Kentucky. I love Kentucky.
And in front of everyone he said we won.
Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won.
Then Trump was like, wait, I gotta explain myself more. And he was like, oh, the war was essentially decided in the first hour of the American and Israeli strike. He said that the remaining fighting was just to finish the job, which is weird because Trump has been really confusing about the war because apparently, as of right now, he said the war ended in the first hour and he also said the war could last 4 to 6 weeks. He also said the war is almost finished and then he said like the US still needs to finish the job. No one knows what's going on. Trump is confused. We're confused. Honestly, it's a war of confusion right now. And what's crazy, guys, is how expensive this war is. Like, apparently Pentagon told Congress that the war already costed $11 billion in the first 6 days. Like, do the math. That's like, what, 1.8 billion every single day for this war? Apparently they used $5 billion worth of missiles and weapons on the first 2 days alone. $5 billion in 2 days? Seriously, what the heck? Like, that's how taxpayer money is getting spent? $11 billion in 6 days? And what's really stupid in America is that the government cut a lot of programs last year, right? Like Medicaid and some welfare and a lot of things. I'm not going to go through it, right? Because the government was like, oh, we need to save more money, right? But then what? Like they saved more money, they got more taxes or they got more money so that they spend $11 billion in 6 days? Seriously? And I'm for richer people paying more taxes. Sure, like if you're super rich, help other people. But the word tax the rich is just a little silly because, well, they get taxed so that the government would what? Like spend the money on war? Like I'm okay with taxes if the tax money is going to get paid to people who actually need it, not wars. But yeah, that was a little rant that I had. But also, talking about economy and the money and everything, you know how oil prices like were $120 per barrel, but then Trump was like, oh, the war is going to be over soon. So the oil prices fell to like $91 per barrel, right? Well, oil prices actually increased again today to over $100 per barrel. So yeah, we're going to see that. Our everyday like transportation and everything, we're going to see gas getting more expensive. And that's not the most important thing. Obviously, like there's a war going on, that's way more important, but yeah, that also affects a lot of people here. But back to the part where Trump said that we won the war. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you believe it. I don't know if I believe it actually. But yeah, but thing is, guys, this is not the first time Trump said something and then contradicted himself. Because yesterday, Trump said something about the Strait of Hormuz that got his own administration confused. Because as you know, the Strait of Hormuz is between Iran and Oman, and it's a small sea corridor that connects Persian Gulf to Arabian Sea, and apparently 20 million barrels of oil pass through that strait every single day. But because of the war, Iran closed that strait and there were like no other countries are gonna pass through it because countries were afraid of like missile attacks and sea mines and drone attacks. They were like, okay, we're not gonna pass through it. But then Trump actually threatened Iran and he said if Iran blocked the Strait of Hormuz, the United States would strike 20 times harder than before. So that was a good threat, right? But the thing is, the next day, which is today, the United States Energy Secretary Chris Wright posted a message on Twitter saying a large oil tanker had already passed through the Strait of Hormuz safely and it had been escorted by US Navy ships, okay? Like, if that was true, it's huge because that means that the US could use the Strait of Hormuz without Iran doing anything to it. Within minutes, oil prices fell and everyone was like, oh, finally, like, we can transport oil again, right? Well, no. It was right after Chris Wright wrote this message, like Carolyn Leavitt, like the White House press secretary, said that no, this escort never actually happened.
Yes, I was made aware of this post. I haven't had a chance to talk to the Energy Secretary about it directly. However, I know the post was taken down pretty quickly, and I can confirm that the U.S. Navy has not escorted a tanker or a vessel at this time.
But what's even funnier is what this guy said, Mohammad Ghalibaf, the Speaker of Iran's parliament, because he took a screenshot of Chris Wright's message and he wrote, well, an oil tanker crossed the Strait of Hormuz escorted by U.S. Navy ships. Maybe on PlayStation. And his post got viral. And in Trump's defense, Trump was not the one who wrote this message. I'm sorry, I did say earlier that Trump wrote something that got the White House a little confused. No, I was a little mistaken. It was actually one of Trump's secretaries, which which is still bad, right? But what's even worse is this next story, because remember the missile attack that hit the school in Iran that apparently killed between 170 and 175 people? And most of them, unfortunately, were young girls. Well, at first, Trump said that based on what I've seen, this might have been done by Iran. So he actually blamed Iran at first, right? But then some investigation happened, and that's the real story. Because apparently, the missile was aimed at a military building, right? So the missile was going to a military building, and it hit the school. How? Because the computer was outdated, or the database was outdated. Because years ago, it was an Iranian naval base, right? Years ago. But then that changed and it became a girls' school. But issue is, even though that changed, the US database didn't get updated. So they sent the missile anyway. Like, seriously? Because of an outdated database, 175 people died? Like, how messed up is this? And this is not the first time the US made a mistake like this, because back in 1991, US bombs hit a civilian bunker in Baghdad and they killed 403 civilians. So unfortunately, because of a mistake, a school, a girls' school was hit. I seriously don't know what will the consequences of this be. Like, is anyone getting charged over this? I don't know. But also, Iran today announced another big thing, because apparently now Iran will not participate in the 2026 World Cup. Because as you know, the World Cup this year is going to be hosted by the US, Mexico, and Canada, and Iran actually qualified to join the World Cup. But today, Iran's Minister of Sport, Ahmadani Amali, said that Iran might not participate in the 2026 World Cup. And he said that they're not joining because of the war and the death of Iran's supreme leader. It may be impossible for Iran to compete in a tournament hosted by the United States. And thing is, guys, this is actually the first time a country withdraws from the World Cup. This is unprecedented. This has never happened before. And what's even funnier is that FIFA's president said that a few hours before Donald Trump called him and he was like, yeah, Iran will be able to participate in the World Cup. You don't have to worry about that. And then the minister comes out and says that. Wow, you really can't trust Trump's words now, huh? And because of that, Iran, by FIFA, could have some financial penalties and disciplinary sanctions. But seriously, there's a war going on. Like, you think Iran cares about FIFA right now? I don't know. And the last story about Iran today is that apparently the FBI warned California that Iran might attack California. Yeah, I'm serious. This news was everywhere today, but the thing is, guys, this is actually not new, because apparently this report from the FBI was back in early February of this year, right? Like, so a month ago, like even before the war started. Because the FBI said that Iran might launch a surprise drone attack against California if the US striked Iran. And guess what? The US did strike Iran. But the thing is, guys, in the report, the FBI actually has no idea who the exact target is, what time it would be, the people who are involved, the type of drone, nothing. The only idea that they have is that a ship might come close to California, and then the ship would send an attack drone that would attack somewhere in California. Why California? No idea. And why did the FBI specifically say Iran is going to attack California? I really don't know. That's what we know right now. As of right now, Gavin Newsom, California's leader, said that California was not aware of any immediate threat. When they asked Trump about whether there's a possibility of Iran attacking US soil, he said that he was not worried. So I think they shouldn't be worried in the US, right? Well, I'm not sure too, because Iran has a lot of drones, a lot. So we don't know. We don't know if Iran is going to strike somewhere in the US anytime soon this week. We'll see. But also, another big thing actually happened today, because Spain fired the position of the Israeli ambassador in their country. Yeah, Spain was like, we don't want you anymore. And Spain has been criticizing Israel because of all the horrible stuff they've been doing in Gaza, and they actually recognized Palestine, which Israel wasn't happy about. But yeah, today they fired or terminated the ambassador's role, and apparently this was signed by King Philip VI. So yeah, it's official. And for the last story of today, guys, what do you think of this picture? This beautiful statue. Because apparently in the US Capitol in Washington, D.C., a giant 12-foot statue of Trump and Epstein doing the Titanic pose was put. And apparently it was made by an anonymous group of artists called Secret Handshake. Nobody knows who the members are. Nobody knows anything about them. We just know that they put this statue there. And honestly, I love it. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. If you want me to talk about any specific stories, let me know in the comments. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow.